All right, everybody, welcome back to Doubleheader Weekly Picks. It's week 7, and well, you know it, midway point of the season. And if you haven't been listening to the news, well, a lot has happened. A lot of trades and a lot of changes at the quarterback position. For that last week, during this week, and maybe some more coming up. So tune in, folks. All right, here we are. Week 7's in the books, and tomorrow will be we'll be getting the point of the NFL season. It's flying by.
It is flying by. It's hard to believe we're already at this point already, and it's October 23rd, 2024, as we're recording this, and we're gonna get into a couple of teams that might need a miracle.
Might maybe putting it lightly for some teams. Others you might want to start. Well, definitely should look forward to next year. If you're the fans, maybe binge watch your favorite movie series, especially from one team in Charlotte. I think the fun you're going to see is going to give you flashbacks to what could have been and so many dreams of happiness.
Mm, yeah, that too. But I guess our points were valid either way. So pick what you want. So
Yep. Anyway, let's start off with week 7. Okay, so, recap. Bears, there was every reason to smile after their big win in London 2 weeks ago. Dallas, I hopefully did some soul searching during your bye week. As for my bingo card, yeah, not much went right there. I mean, let's see which ones I get right. Oh yeah, Commanders went over 200 yards rushing. I got that right. And Amon St. Brown went over 100 yards. As for Saquon Barkley, I was hoping he would score twice against his former team, but we'll get into that in a moment. And oh yeah, Mari Cooper scoring his Bills debut. We'll get into that shortly as this episode progresses.
well, good job. Interesting picks, Amir, on your little bingo card, and I got a little confused with the green X's, and I saw a couple big X's, and it threw me off guard a little bit. But you know, hey, you can't get them all right.
Well, well, yeah, every NFL teams remind me of that. Ever since I started watching it many moons ago. But anyway, let's start with our first game across the pond in London, and the Jags and the Patriots, and well done Jaguars.
Yeah, Jaguars. I was able to catch the second half of this game Sunday morning. Just doing some last minute chores before the week, and I have to say, not bad from Drake May. Not bad at all.
Yeah, he did pretty good. I mean, he threw for 276 yards and didn't have no turnovers and 2 touchdown passes. As for the Jaguars, Tank Bixley, 180 yards on the ground, scored twice. Brian Thomas, 5 receptions, 89 yards in the score. And Parker Washington, 96-yard punt return to the house, which all you deserves you, which earned you guys three. Well, um, here we go. Yep, whistle salute from our friends in the island of Sodor. As for the Patriots defense, they were hearing a different sound. Yes, get out. And also, your coach called your run defense soft.
Ouch. I did not was able not I was able and where I was not able to hear the press conference from that. Soft is kind of pushing it in a way, wouldn't you say?
Well, you could, but then again, this Patriots run defense was good last year. Well, was anything but over in London at Wembley Stadium, getting over 180 yards to Tank Bigsley, and not to mention this team hasn't won since opening day, which, man, feels like a lifetime ago for this team.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen New England in general be above 500, right? Because Mac Jones was the quarterback. I barely forgive me if I'm butchering this guy's name incorrectly, but But Zappy is his last name.
Yeah, but they're no longer on the roster, and Mac Jones was on the opposing team's sideline, Jaguars.
Yeah, funny how that works out for at least for Jacksonville's sake. And it's a good thing that that Trevor Lawrence was able to stay in it, which was good for your fantasy lineup.
Yeah, and you had Tank Bigsley. I'd say you won big, or helped win big.
hmm Well, I got nothing else for this matchup here. I, I good, entertaining game indeed. I think the right team won, in my opinion. Patriots. You might need to do some soul searching for yourself.
Oh yeah, that's something we haven't said about the Patriots. Well, I know Patriot fans haven't said that in a long time, but yeah, things have changed in Foxborough. But now let's move on to the games at 1 o'clock in the United States. Starting off with possibly a game of the year nominee, the game at U.S. Bank Stadium between the Lions and Vikings. What a finish!
Man, man, what a game! What a finisher! Right. Um. If in case if you did not catch this game, Amir, I bet you can explain it better than I can. The final plays of this game.
Well, I mean, Detroit got out to a big lead. They were leading by 18, if I'm not mistaken, and then the Vikings came back and even took the lead on a fumble recovery to give them a 1 point lead. But then had a chance to close out the game, but Sandor threw incomplete. Gave it up for Jared Goff, leading them on the game-winning drive, and then Jake Bates kicked the game-winning field goal 44 yards out, and with that, Lions are in first place in the NFC North. That deserves a friend from Costa from the Bikini Bottom. You there? Yep, there you
Oh,
go. I know you guys are here. And also, shout out to Jameer Gibbs, 15 carries, a buck 16, 2 scores, and Amar St. Brown, who had going over 100 yards. He had a buck 12 in the score. Hats off to you. As for the Vikings, yeah, good effort. I mean, got country from Jefferson, 7 catches, 81 yards in the score. Aaron Jones, 93 yards in the score, and Ivan Pace, who scored the go-ahead touchdown on a 36-yard fumble return to give the Vikings the lead. Hats off to you as well, but unfortunately, wasn't enough to avoid this. Oh, you stink! Yep.
I knew it. I knew it was coming. That's why I started laughing. And I'm glad we're doing these sound bites every week because they are funny. If you're a SpongeBob fanatic like me and Amir are on this show, but yeah. But looking at these records so far, didn't I have the yeah, I did have the Vikings winning, but they didn't. So I should be 2-1, right?
Okay, yeah, you. Oh,
Or
okay,
one
that.
and one. I
Yeah,
should be
one
one
and
and
one.
one. Okay.
Thanks for catching that. Yeah, there won't. Yeah, but either, and I nearly got the score right. Had the Vikings maybe gone for two. I know I had to go for two once and get it. Fade away. 2-0 for me, 1-1 for you. And like I said, potential game of the year nominee, definitely game of the week, and how this game finished up. But great, what a heck of a game at US Bank Stadium.
Yep. And we even said last week this was a game to keep an eye on. And boy, they delivered both of them.
Yes, they did. Moving on from US Bank Stadium, we're going to go to Lucas Oil Stadium. So Minneapolis to Indianapolis. And oh, by the way, y'all, speaking of keeping up with the news, that Colts Vikings game is coming up in November. It's going to be on Sunday Night Football. So that should be a good one.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Really excited for Indianapolis. I bet you're happy, Amir, being a Peyton Manning fan. And correct me if I'm wrong. If you're are you wearing an Indianapolis shirt right now?
Yes, I am, and because they've been delivering this year, unlike another team that I root for. Well, they got two teams in football.
Yep. But we'll get to them in a second, and don't you worry. And then when it comes to this game in general, folks, Colts win 16, Dolphins with 10. And so far, I am looking 2-1 in my record, and so far, you're undefeated, Amir.
Yeah, so far so good. And I will say this game, I was expecting a lot more points, but of course it's the NFL. Nothing ever plays out the way you envision it. But let's get up to the Colts defense. I mean, look what they did in the second half. I mean, they held the Dolphins to 123 yards, forced two fumbles, and held them off the scoreboard.
Wow, that's quite the feat. And I think the Colts deserves a defense,
Yep.
rather.
Yep. Definitely. And also Matt Gay, 3 for 3 on all of his field goals. So he also gets a 3 cheers. As for the Dolphins, as this photo right here suggests, yeah, another forgettable day at the office, especially offensively, because again, no Tua. Had a good opening drive with John Smith found the end zone, but after that, it was this.
Oh, you stink!
Yep.
Yeah, 2-4 now, or Miami, and we'll get to them in quite in a few minutes here, folks. On the other side, and I mean, we'll see what happens with them.
Yep, and also Zaire Franklin, 16 tackles, forced a fumble and recovered one in the third quarter. And Sanu Aladobi, hope I said your name right, Trevor Fulton set up the Colts' first touchdown in the game. It's a good 7 yards out, and that helped turn the tide in favor of the home team, who's now won 4 of the last 5 games after an 0-2 start.
Yeah, so great turnaround so far. Can they keep it up? We shall see.
I agree with that. And speaking of we shall see, let's look forward to another preview. Look at our next game here in MetLife Stadium, where it was a revenge meeting for a certain Eagles running back.
Saquon Barkley. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'll go ahead and tell you the final score for this game being the Eagles. What was the actual score for this game actually? Because I don't see it on here.
Eagles 28, Giants 3. I don't know how that didn't show up on here, but here it is now. But yeah, it was first time all year Eagles fans can say, "Whew, we don't have to sweat it out."
Yeah, and if you're in New York right now, NFC East meeting with Scooter Magruder, you definitely got bullied there, in that meeting for sure.
Yep, and also Scooter's Cowboys are on a bye week, but he had plenty a lot to say, and his three counterparts had a lot of comebacks ready for him, especially his plays in Philadelphia. One in Philadelphia. Speaking of which, getting back to Saquon Barkley, I had stats right here. 17 carries for a buck 76 and a score, and also first time seems to come a 55-yard run in the second play of scrimmage. Set the tone for a big day rushing for the Eagles. 269 total yards and 3 touchdowns. The latter two scored by Jalen Hurts, who once again kept the ball out of harm's way.
Yeah, nice recovery from Jalen Hurts. Probably his best game in the last few games, and I would say the Eagles' offense deserves a.
Oh, yeah, and let's not forget the defense too. Held them Giants 3 points, 7 sacks, two by Nadopi Dean and Jalen Carter. Both had 2 sacks
Okay,
apiece. Yep.
all
So
right. So the entire Eagles team deserves a.
oh yeah. I bet that Philly cheesesteak tasted good on the way home.
Mm, I like Philly cheesesteaks, Amir, and boy, I bet it did, Eagles fan.
Yep. As for the Giants, yeah, the 3 points speak for itself. And the quarterback got benched, and he will definitely not be wearing the Giants uniform next year. So without further ado,
Oh, you stink!
100%.
Yeah, if you're Daniel Jones, I think your days are coming to an end in New York. I'm sorry. I mean, I like Daniel Jones, great talent, but he doesn't fit with the bill.
Yeah, and since he signed that contract last year, he hasn't even thrown a touchdown pass at MetLife Stadium.
Well, that's scary if you think about it. That's something that I did not know about, and I still think he has some potential, but and a great talent indeed. We've seen him put up great numbers in previous games, but when it comes to this year, Amir, it just hasn't clicked together.
Nah, and like I said, the Giants, you just never know what them. They can look like they can stun you like they did in Seattle 2 weeks ago, and then they give you an effort like this. Don't even show up.
Definitely. So, oh boy. So Giants, we're done with you, and I'm ready for our next recap uh, team.
Yep. And speaking of the Seahawks, well, I thought this game would have a lot of scoring, and it did, but I was hoping for a back and forth affair.
Yeah, me too. I was disappointed in this game for sure. I didn't expect Atlanta to score 14 points despite the last few weeks. I guess Kirk Cousins was saying you don't like that. You don't like that. We don't.
Nope, nope. There was no fans at Mercedes-Benz Stadium did not like that performance by their home team. Considering they dominated the Falcons, Buccaneers, and Panthers last 2 weeks. But as for the Seahawks, your defense stepped up, forced 3 turnovers, including a fumble recovery turned to house by Derek Hall, 64-yarder that really turned the tide in the game and allowed the Seahawks to pull away.
Yeah, the defense really stood up for sure. And did Kirk Cousins threw any interceptions this game?
Yeah, threw 2 of them, one to Kobe Bryant and another one to Julian Love, which basically that's only the third interceptions Seahawks recorded all year. And
Yeah, that's what I figured. That's what I figured that he did that. And I kind of wish I went back and watched the highlights for this game on YouTube, but I don't know why I did not. Atlanta is another NFC South team I'm looking forward. But although I did pick Tampa Bay to get the NFC South.
that could change with what's who they're facing next week. But as for game after the Seahawks, you got 2 contributions from Kenneth Walker, 93 total yards, 2 scores, and DK Metcalf at 4 receptions for 99 yards and a score, but at bigger numbers. But left the game with a sprained MCL, so he's gonna be week to week. But having said all that, Seattle, you deserve a. There we go.
And
Oh
before
yeah.
before we proceed, Amir, I think I kind of lost you there after I was done speaking. So
Yeah, I did notice you were talking a bit slow, and I don't know what it is. The signal, even when I was trying to log in, it was like running slower than usual. So yeah, things get a little murky. It's the internet. You just don't know what it'll do from time to time.
yeah, so thank you for bearing with us. Uh,
Yeah, and speaking of bearing with us, Falcon fans who stayed through this game from kickoff to kneel down, well, you weren't saying rise up when the clock struck zero. You were saying this.
Boo! You stink!
Oh, yeah.
who you think is right? What what a letdown, man! I thought it was gonna be a whole lot better than this. And like I said, to reiterate to what I said a couple seconds ago about Atlanta is another team in the NFC South I got my eye on besides Tampa Bay. But
Yep. And, yeah, the Falcons had laid an egg at home, but good win for the Seahawks. Now, it's just getting in an exciting finish. The one that Lambeau did, um, I know these pictures have not been updated, but you're the defensive coordinators. I'd say better than I thought.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, if you're the Texans defensive coordinator, I mean, team forces 3 turnovers. I mean, that's pretty good. And that defensive coordinator held the Tech CJ Stroud to 86 yards passing. I'd say that's a pretty good day at the office.
Definitely. Definitely. Jordan Love has impressed me. You know, I remember back in, I think it was week 3, week 4. I think he came back, and all of a sudden, he's starting to find that groove.
Yeah, I mean, I will say he did throw 2 interceptions that kept Houston in the game and allowed them to take the lead. But when he first, but when the chips were on the line, game on the line, led them down the field, and their kicker was able to kick the game-winning field goal as time ran out. And Green Bay is now 5-2 and half the game out of first place against behind the Lions.
Yeah, it's really competitive with the NFC North right now with Detroit, right?
Yeah, in fact, all 4 teams are above 500. Unlike the AFC North last year.
Yeah, so parity, right? I would say parity.
Yes, which is why we love the NFL. You get a lot of parity.
Shout out Weird Al Yankovic, but
Oh yeah. So for the Packers, who, by the way, your all-white uniforms were fire. You deserve. Yep. As for the Texans, yeah, 86 yards passing. Somehow you're still lost by 2, but that's not going to cut it.
Boo! You stink!
that's tough, tough to see that, or tough to hear about that, and if you're listening on Spotify. Oh man, but hey, both 5-2. They're doing really well for themselves, and we'll see what happens. Week number 8.
Oh yeah, because I know Houston, they're going to have a very big game, big opponent when they come back home. As for the Packers, you're going to be in the state of Florida, but not going to the beach though. But I did hear that stadium has a swimming pool. As for big days and possibly for the NFL teams, it was a big day in Orchard Park for this guy wearing number 17, 100 career start, and ended in victory.
100 career start for Josh Allen. Wow, I can't believe it. But yeah, let's see. Well, looking at it, ooh, yeah, it was a blowout with Amari Cooper making his debut.
Yep, and first catch of the bill goes for a touchdown.
How about that? How about that? Well, Amari Cooper, we miss you in the Cleveland area, but hey, if you're doing well, fine by me.
Yep, and also Keon Coleman over the 100-yard mark for first time in his career, caught 4 receptions. It had a touchdown that was called back. When I saw the replay, it looked like a touchdown, but referees always have the last say in the matter. And as for Mr. Allen, 323 yards, 3 touchdown passes, and no turnovers. 12 touchdown passes on the year, no interceptions. That's good.
Well,
Very good, Josh.
yeah, definitely. Uh, let's just say this could be like the wake up call that Josh Allen needed to to uh to keep up with the other teams that are or ahead to make it to the Super Bowl, Amir, because you predicted the Bills to make it.
Yep, and the Lions, and so far, so good.
Definitely.
And as for the Bills defense, second half shutout, forced 2 turnovers, one of which is by Damar Hamlin, who's got his second interception in his career. Of course, we all know what happened to him 2 years ago. It's good to see him up and healthy. And then for the Bills faithful, not only were you saying "Let's go Buffalo" when the clock struck 0, you were saying everything would ever want to work. I love the internet, huh? There we go.
Oh,
There we go. Yep. Took a while, but gotta love the internet. It only works at its speed, not ours. As for the Titans, well, Will Levis was out with an injury. Mason Rudolph got the start, and gave Bills fans a scare with a 10-0 start, but after that, this is what awaited them in the locker room.
Oh, you stink!
Oh man, another rough outing for Titans fans. It's 1-5 on the season. Definitely do some soul searching as well. Yeah, I mean, what else can they try?
Well, I don't know. I mean, outside of Tony Pollard, no one else has shown up. That's at the receiving position. It's like the leading receiver only has 140 yards on the season. That being Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting as well because 140 yards and it's week 7.
Yeah, and he's their leading receiver now because of, I'm paying attention to the news. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is no longer in Nashville. He's now with the defending champions.
Yeah, with the Kansas City Chiefs, and we'll get to them here shortly. But yeah, um, if you're Tennessee, I think it's a rebuilding process from this point forward.
Well, given that they have a new coach, yeah, the rebuild was pretty apparent. Now you got to say to yourself, the quarterback we drafted last year, is he the guy? And so far, the answer is no.
The answer is no, indeed, and we'll get to another team here shortly, folks. Don't you worry. That needs a little soul searching.
Oh yeah, well, unfortunately, the next team we're going to discuss, yeah, they've been soul searching for a while, and that search is not going to end anytime soon. As we move across the state border to Cleveland, Ohio, Battle of Ohio between Bengals and Browns, and really, I don't know what it is. Given how inept the Browns' offense has been, it hadn't been well outside week 1, been blown out.
Yeah, it was good to see Cleveland keeping it close, but and I'm just gonna say it right now, Amir. Deshaun Watson, Achilles injury, out for the season.
Yep, and they unfortunately showed a replay of his calf rippling because that's what happened when your Achilles snapped. And you're right then and there, that was the end of his season. And the, I yeah, the light of Browns fans, his time in Cleveland, because there was also a lot of cheering going on when that injury occurred, which has caused a
Yeah,
lot of
and that
division amongst people.
yep, and Jameis Winston, backup quarterback, was not too pleased to hear about that, or Miles Garrett in the press conference after the game. Man, I going back to my predictions before the season started. I don't know what I was thinking. Picking Cleveland to win the division.
Well, I wouldn't blame you. I mean, they did make the playoffs last year, considering the carousel quarterbacks they had, and not to mention they had a top-rated defense. Miles Garrett, defensive player of the year, but unfortunately, this year their offense has just been listless. I mean, they finally went over 300 yards total offense this past Sunday, but still can't even get to 20 points, which is just mind blowing to me. And also, Nick Chubb, glad to have you back in the field and in the end zone. So there's a few positives for the Browns. Yep,
Hmm.
that's a thumbs up. As for their in-state rivals, the Bengals, well, it was a big day. Well, playing game balls to pass out. I mean, Sam Hubbard, you had your first career interception, number 94. He's also the guy who had that fumble return for a touchdown in the playoffs 2 seasons ago. And speaking of the defense, Trey Hendrickson, another game with 2 sacks. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, another day at the office finding the end zone. What do you expect, folks? And also Mr. Charlie Jones, a hump return for the touchdown, 100 yards. So that being said, for Cincinnati Bengals, that deserves along with a Who Day. Come on, our friend. Yep. As for the Browns fans, and this is another game, forgettable game on offense and losing to Deshaun Watson. Well, yeah, this guys are going to be moving to a new stadium in the near future, which definitely did not please Browns fans. And another site that does not please Browns fans, yeah, your in-state rivals taking over the stadium, as you can see right here in the bottom. That deserves a.
Oh, you stink!
I I got no words, man. It's rough, but if you're a Cleveland fan, being my second favorite team and all, I don't know. It's just I'm just having a way over time over here.
Yeah, and since their playoff clinching win over the Jets last season, they haven't won a game at home. Just thinking of their home stadium.
Yeah, I really think they can. I really think they can at least get to 5 wins, man. If they can at least get to 5 wins, that'll be a great recovery.
Yeah, it's just this division is unfortunately is not an easy one. Again,
No,
everyone had a winning record last year.
yeah, the AFC North is never easy if you're against the Ravens, Steelers, and the Bengals. And I mean, I put the Bengals last because I think they're the least threat team to win right now. But when it comes to the Ravens and Pittsburgh, they're always on it no matter what.
Well, I mean, I mean, don't take away, man. That's by the record. I mean, the Bengals have been to playoffs the last have had the winning record last 4 years. And of course, had the Super Bowl run a few years back, and they're starting to hit regain their swagger from a few years ago. So that's good. And I won their third. They've won their third game out of their last four. Excuse me, that should be 3-4, not 4-4. So hopefully they can keep it up. As for the Browns, yeah, once again, do some soul searching. But you're not alone because we're
Oh,
going to discuss. They've been soul searching for a long time. But the team they faced, they got something. So let's move on to the late slate. And the game that was broadcast here in Charlotte, unfortunately, yeah, it was you turned the game off, Panther fans, wouldn't blame you.
can I just hit my head on the desk? Come on, like, my two favorite teams back to back like this. Oh, come on.
We'll say at least the Browns have been competitive. Panthers can't even
Yeah,
say that.
that's true, but this team right here. Oh no, no sirree. And I just want to get the audio clips out of the way now because we all know what's gonna happen for Panthers. Uh, take it away.
Well, it's not keep pounding, it is.
Oh, you stink!
Oh man, and they stink indeed. And breaking news, just about 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Bryce Young will take the field as the Week 8 starter for this week's game.
Yeah, so yeah, Panther fans, it's a nightmare scenario that's basically the case since Tepper's come in. All the opponents are making sure that Panther fans have a uncomfortable experience, making sure they see things they don't want to see. And well, here's another example of that. Bryce is going to be taking snaps this Sunday in Denver. But as for the team they faced on Sunday, that being the Commanders, well, this I know what they were seeing at the end of this game. I just, there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and even with let me just pause you right there, Amir.
yeah,
Uh, Jalen, what's his name? I can't think of his
Jaden,
name. Jaden McDaniels, right?
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels, excuse me. I was thinking about the basketball player. Jaden Daniels comes in, plays well, gets a few yards, and all of a sudden has to come out with a rib injury. And Marcus Mariota, I kid you not, throws for over 200 yards, looking like Tom Brady, looking like Brett Favre, looking like Roethlisberger, just coming in, throwing passes like it's nothing.
That's if you're like I even mentioned it last week. If you're offensive coordinator, no matter running back, wide receivers, or pitch third or fourth string, or have a backup quarterback, gotta be licking your chops, saying we can do whatever we want against this defense, and heck, for that matter, against this team, because nothing's going right for them. We're gonna feel sorry for them. We'll just add another a miserable chapter to your miserable history under Dave Tepper. And just to rub salt in the wounds, Mr. Tepper, Frankie Lugu, remember him? Yeah, he had 4 tackles and a sack. Jeremy Shin, he also had 6 tackles. So 3 cheers to you guys. And the game and the play that set the tone for this game, Dante Fowler, 1 interception, took it 6, 7 yards to the house. And afterwards, if you were wearing a commander's uniform, it was Anna. You can just kick back and relax. Say, yep, I can do whatever I want. Just chill out, man, to make these fans happy. So I decided to do it. And yep, and
Oh,
also Mariota had only 5 incompletions coming off the bench and rushing offense, 214 yards. And I predicted that they would go over 200 yards.
yeah. So good on you, Amir, and I like the little kickback that you did for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what fans of whenever their teams play in the Panthers saying, "Yep, this is going to be a nice day at the stadium or at home. Just get to kick back and watch my team do their thing."
Mm, But okay, I think I got what I wanted out of this review. So we got a few more games to get to.
Yep. So we're going to go from our nation's capital to Hollywood, being 2 teams that once upon a time used to play in Hollywood. Raiders and the Raiders and the Rams. Excuse me. Now the Raiders were in Vegas, and well, let's just say it was not a Hollywood ending for the Las Vegas Raiders, and they also didn't get I have to say they left the what do you call it? The casinos empty-handed as well. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Let me read off these stats for their offense. Under 22 yards rushing, 21st downs, 33, 40, possessed the ball for 33 minutes, 48 seconds, outgained the Rams 317 to 259. And you think to yourself, they might have won this game by 2 touchdowns, right?
Uh. Wow. Uh. That's shocking to me because of the actual score here, folks, of 20-15 Rams. But you would think that if you're listening to this right now, you're saying, wait a minute, this guy's crazy. This can't be right.
And yeah, exactly. I when I looked up these stats on, it was like the Denver game. It's like, man, they dominated on the stat sheet, but the scoreboard shows a different result. And oh yeah, and as I say that, yeah, 3 turnovers and 10 penalties for 80 yards. So yeah,
Not good. Not good whatsoever.
yep. And oh yeah, 5 field goals as well, including going for a field goal down 8 inside their own 20 instead of going for the end zone. Yeah, Mr. Antonio Pierce, that did not sit well with Raider fans and Jaguar Gator 9. And boy, that seat is getting very warm for you, Mr. Pierce.
Very warm indeed, and that deserves a.
Boo! You stink!
100%. As for the Rams, coming fresh off your bye, man, yeah, it wasn't a pretty game. Leading by 2 touchdowns at one point, but another big game from Kerwin Williams, 76 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the defense, forced 4 turnovers. Cameron Curl, and the way he spells his name is a bit different. It 33-yard fumble return for a touchdown, and Jalen McCullough 2 interceptions, game clinching in the fourth quarter. Without further ado, that deserves there we go. There we go. And also, I noticed from the score, you almost got it right, Keenan. Again, we seem to be close to getting these scores correct, but we're always one off.
I know. Yeah, I was super close reviewing the predictions for this week, and I was like, oh, I can just get one more point. That's all I need.
Yes, but either way, Rams walk away with a 5-point win. The Raiders, yeah, again, got to do some soul searching because he walked out of that casino empty-handed.
Yeah. So, and speaking of empty-handed, oh boy, what what a mess this next game was.
Yeah, speaking of Vegas, the one last time these two teams met was in Vegas for the Super Bowl, and well, that game played out like the Super Bowl should play out, down the wire, overtime. But this game, when we saw on Sunday, that was anything but.
Yeah, like I said, a big mess for sure. There was interception after interception from both quarterbacks, actually, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes that didn't throw a touchdown pass. Heck, the last two times he's been on the field, he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass. That's something you never see from him.
No,
Yeah,
never.
and also he has more interceptions than touchdown passes. I don't know what's going on with that.
I know, and despite the fact they're undefeated, being what five, is it supposed to be 6-0 or 5-0?
5-0. They had a bye week for this game.
Oh, that's right. Yep. This is where I get confused because of like what's their record? Like, oh, because of the bye week. So
Hmm.
if you hear me say that a few times the next few weeks, that's why. So
Hmm.
oh boy, but yeah, it was just a mess. Just a mess for both teams. Good defense. Good defense from both sides, but the offense was a little bit off.
Yeah, I said it was a big day from Travis Kelsey and George Kittle. Kittle had a pretty good game, had 92 yards receiving, so he was 8 yards short of reaching the century mark. But Travis only had 17 yards. I'm wondering when's he going to start to become Travis Kelsey of old because he's. Who would have thought by week 7 he wouldn't even have a touchdown? He's, this
Like
Chiefs
he's got
team's
to at least have
confused.
one, right? At least have one touchdown on his resume for this season.
Yeah, and at least one game where he's gone over the century mark, but that's not been the case. And yet, the Chiefs are undefeated in spite of that. As for the Niners
And
offense, had a lot of man. You'd think they would be motivated to play this game, given how things ended in Vegas in February, but nope, 3 turnovers, and yeah, fans were not happy with that. And that deserves a. This darn thing will ever want to work. There we go.
oh, there it is.
Oh, you stink!
And it was a boo you think is well deserved considering, the last 2 times. I mean, actually, the last 4 times they played the Chiefs, they've lost twice in the Super Bowl and twice at Levi Stadium, which the former was Christian McCaffrey's first game as a 49er 2 years ago. That was a blowout. And by the way, he's not on the field. And fortunately, a lot of Niners lost a lot of key players. Brandon Ayuk to the season with knee injury, and Elo Samuel, he had to spend the night in the hospital, a few days in the hospital with pneumonia. He had fluid in his lungs, but he's luckily out of the hospital and doing better.
That's good.
Yeah, as for the Chiefs defense, like I said, 3 interceptions and a Kareem Hunt, 70 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, and Mahomes found the end zone on the ground. So without that being said, and nothing's a 5-0, that deserves. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, 3 cheers for Kansas City, or as Andrew would say it, how about those Chiefs? As they say in this locker room
uh,
celebration. Either way,
yeah,
Chiefs good defense, offense. Um, not looking like the one we're used to seeing. I will say that.
yeah, kind of iffy, like I said earlier, but yeah, I'm ready to get into these primetime games because I see the night sky in this next slide.
Oh yes, oh yes. It was good night in New Orleans for the visiting team and their head coach Sean Payton. who's got every right to smile after the game clock struck zero at the Superdome. But for his counterpart and former defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, yeah, your time in the Bayou is somehow not up, but I think it's going to be up pretty soon.
Yeah, if this keeps happening, it's gonna get really, really warm in in that coaching seat.
Well, it wasn't all that long ago. The Saints were scoring 40 points like it was going out of style, and that Derek Carr, cost him a few couple $1,000s in his bank account with a Michael Jackson touchdown celebration. Well, there's been no celebrating on Bourbon Street since then. We've lost
Yeah,
5 in a row. The low point, I'd say, was definitely this game right here. And yeah, oh, by the way, Carr is not. He hasn't dressed the last 2 games due to an injury. And oh yeah, your coach. I don't think he's going to make that revenge game in December against the Raiders. I think Carr will. But as for the Broncos, let's see here. Devontae Williams, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. Will Lutz, former Saint, catching all 4 of his field goals, including a 52-yarder. And Corey Barton, a 52-yard return for a touchdown, excuse me, that basically put the game out of reach. And to cap off Sean Payton's return to New Orleans, which ended in a victory. So out, the old first line. Okay, here we go. As they always say, so yeah, Sean Payton returns home, gets a victory, and Saquon Barkley returns home, gets a victory. 2 revenge games. As for the host teams, this being the Saints, who by the way were celebrating honor Drew Brees at halftime, only Lou Tony cheered. Well, they weren't saying who dat, excuse me, that's Bengals say who day. There was no who day in that Superdome. It was
Oh, you stink!
oh yeah.
who that? No, who that? Boo, you stink. Boo, you stink. And then so on and so forth. I could go on all day, but we don't have that.
Oh yeah, and like I said, Mr. Allen, yeah, I think your time in the Bayou is coming to an end.
Well, as for the next game coming up here, let's see. Jets and Steelers. Ooh, yeah. Let's just say I don't know. I don't know. Um, yeah. If you're Aaron Rodgers and company, uh, make sure you duck and cover because you don't want to see this.
Well, basically for about 2.5 quarters, they didn't have to do that because they had the lead 15-6, and it looked like all right, things are clicking for the Jets, especially after you signed this guy during the week, Mr. Devontae Adams. But after that, yeah, they were ducking and covering because Mr. Wilson, um, Mr. Rogers, you're familiar with him. Yeah, he was starting quarterback for the Steelers that night. Excuse me. And while it got off to a shaky start for him, well, by the night's end, game's end, I should say, passed for 2 touchdown passes, and one of which went to George Pickens, and Steelers had a 31 to nothing run and won the game 37-15. So hats off to Russell, George Pickens won over the century mark for the first time this year, and Najee Harris, who had a bucko too, and Benny Bishop, who recorded his first 2 career interceptions on Sunday Night Football, and rocking the throwback uniforms as well. That deserves a special.
Absolutely, man. What a turnaround! And we thought Russell Wilson was sort of on the cups of being on the bench the most of the year because of Justin Fields. But um, let me ask you this before we get to the boo you stink. Is Justin Fields? Should you be worried if you're Justin Fields?
I'd be a little worried because the Steelers' offense started putting more points on the board and capitalizing in the red zone, something that they weren't by their fast start. They weren't doing a lot of that on Justin Fields. And as the season goes on, you gotta put the ball in the end zone, not through the goalpost.
Yeah, but and as for the Jets, the Jets team in the second half, that kind of deserves a you know.
Oh yeah,
Boo! You stink!
yeah. As Joe Beningo would say, you can change the quarterback, change the coach, GM, the stadium. By the end of the day, it's the same old crap. Or as Jets fans would say, just end the suffering. Well, suffering is not ending anytime soon. You know, I've lost 4 games in a row, and oh yeah, your coach, he got the zig not too long ago, and I don't think Jeff Robart's going to be getting a full-time job when season's end.
Nope, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you there. So now we get to the Monday Night Football games, and we got first up. We have the I can't see it because the print is so small, but the Ravens and Buccaneers. That's right, and it was not looking too good at first for both for I think it was or was it the other team? I can't remember, um but I can't think of a good point to be honest. So Amir, I'll let you take it from here.
Well, I do know Tampa got to a fast start, 10-0 at the beginning of the second quarter, but then out of nowhere, the Ravens just caught fire and they had scored like 34 unanswered points, and it looked like they're going to win this game going away. But then Tampa started to come back, but like once again, King Henry and Lamar Jackson kicked it in the high gear. And when he scored that touchdown, that gave them some breathing room. But once again, the Bucks they kept on scoring, and by game's end, we had 72 combined points, and one of the highest scoring games of the year. And as Ravens move on to 5-2, Bucks fall 4-3. Great game offensively. Defensively, if you're a defensive coordinator, you're saying to yourself, we can't allow this to go continue as the season progresses.
Yeah, the not the Ravens, but the Buccaneers are still looking pretty dang good. You know, being above 500. But who deserves the hip hooray and the boo you stink?
Well, plenty of 3 cheers if you're wearing a Ravens uniform. Lamar Jackson, 208 yards passing, 5 touchdown passes on 17 completions on 22 attempts. Derrick Henry, or should I say King Henry, another day at the office, a buck 69 and 15 carries, and also scored on a touchdown reception. And the Ravens also had over 200 yards rushing. And then Mark Andrews, the all-time leader in touchdown receptions in Ravens history with 42. Was in the end zone twice that night. Rashard Bateman had a big night before he left with an ankle injury, four catcher or buck 21 to score. Marlon Humphrey had 2 interceptions, including one picture you see here, folks, on YouTube in the end zone that stopped the Tampa scoring threat. And that, all in all, as you said, Keenan, that deserves a. This darn thing ever work. Here we go. And oh, by the way, that was a lot of game balls to pass out for the Ravens. As for the Bucks, I mean, gave it a good effort again. Baker 373 touchdown passes, did throw 2 picks, and also you're going to be out with 2 of your top weapons in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Evans with a hamstring and Godwin with a bad ankle injury that was so bad ESPN didn't even bother showing the replay of that injury. But
Well,
you're the Bucks defense. Oh, sorry.
I'm glad they did not. And as for Mike Evans, before I forget, folks, take him out of your fantasy lineup just to be safe because you want to earn as much points as you possibly can.
And I will say this was a big night fantasy wise if you had any offensive players from the Ravens and Buccaneers. But if you had the Bucks defense in fantasy, Yeah, 41 points yard rushing. That deserves a. What are you doing, internet? There it goes.
Oh, you stink!
Yeah, 41 rushing, like you said, Amir, and not good, not good at all.
Yep. But either way, a very entertaining game at the current sombrero. And speaking of sombreros, I know they're probably going to eat those out in the desert because it gets really hot out there, but still a thriller out at State Farm Stadium. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Well, speaking of good neighbors, James Conner, he was a good neighbor for his team and his and the fans. And here's a stat for him. He had buck 100 yards, 101 rush for 101 yards, excuse me, and he had 50 yards receiving, but also forced a fumble, becoming the first player in NFL history to have 100 plus yards rushing, 50 yards plus receiving, and forced a fumble in the same game. In the same game, excuse me.
Yep, I got that. Hmm.
And then also Mr. Chad Ryland. Well, for the second time this season, you kicked the walk-off field goal to win the game for your team. The time from 32 yards out. Also did that few weeks back in Santa Clara against the 49ers. And Mr. Greg Dortch, you have one catch, 4 yards, but first time you found the end zone all season, sir. So, of course, for all you Cardinal fans, big win on Monday night. That deserves definitely.
Well,
No,
well, if you're well, it was a close game. There's gotta um Arizona definitely a surprise for sure. I didn't really say that a whole lot this week, but if you're the Chargers, who gets the boo you stink?
oh, Mr. Jalen Rager and Tahir Tate. Yeah, Mr. Tate, you had an interception as for defense lineman. That's good, but as mentioned before, James Conner forced the fumble. Well, that's the play that's oh, you're on the receiving end of that forced fumble, Mr. Tate. And had you hung onto the ball, that was giving your team good field position, but instead, the Cardinals drive to continue. And as for Mr. Rager, you had a big game for 44 yards and a surefire touchdown, but then you fumbled the ball through the end zone, and that left another possible 7 points on the on the field. And as a result, the team lost by 2 points, and you're also 3-3, and that deserves a.
Oh, you stink!
So very very competitive game indeed. But I mean, if you're Arizona, you gotta be feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, I mean they've been more competitive than people are giving credit for. I mean they suck around with the Lions and the Bills, two teams I had in the Super Bowl this year. Of course, there was a few hiccups against say the game in Lambeau last week and the Commanders earlier this year, and then Chargers. I don't know. It seems what team we're gonna get week to week. I mean, got to a good start, but you've been kind of cold the last few weeks.
Yeah. So what you're gonna get, we don't know. So Amir, real quick before we go to our preview section of this episode, how how did we do this week?
But we did great once again. 12 wins for me, 11 for you. And so we've gone over the 500 yard, no, double digit win mark for second week in a row. We've been killing it the last weeks in terms of picks.
Yeah, definitely. And make sure that's correct because I want to make sure because I think let's see, did I actually go 11-4 this week? Let me see. What was the
Yeah,
last
you
thing
had
I
the
was
Chargers
on?
winning and they didn't win.
Okay, so I did go 11-4, right?
Yeah, 'cause you had the Chargers, Vikings. Who was the other team you had winning? Kansas City and what was one other team? Oh, the Falcons, and they all lost.
Okay, so I did finish with 4 losses, and now with my predicted record. So that's really good, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that, all right. Yeah. So, yep. So, again, folks, it's a great week and another great week picking the games over double digits. And now we get to the midway point of the season where it's almost Halloween. They're doing a lot of movie marathons, and for some teams and their fans, they want to start watching them. Some of these, what we have in store for them, these teams, make you say, you know what? What's do something different this Sunday to sitting through this. So tune into that when we come back, folks.
All
Folks, we're
right.
back from the intermission. So, and speaking of intermission, like I mentioned before, we're at the midway point in the NFL season. Well, approaching it. The game going to take place tomorrow at SoFi between Vikings and the Rams. Like I said before, the season is moving along.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to week 8. Good competitive matchups this week.
Oh yeah, and also no bye weeks, amazingly.
Hmm. That's interesting.
Yep. And oh yeah, the World Series is about to start as well. So if you all look have an alternative, that's not a bad one. LA versus New York, that being the Dodgers and the Yankees.
Yeah, it should be a good one. And real quick, I'm gonna say that the Dodgers win in 6 games with the series.
Oh, for me, I hope it's a good series. I mean, got two markets, opposite ends of the country, and I mean, the Dodgers. They've been in the World Series a few times over the last few years, and the Yankees. I mean, hard to believe it's the first one in over a decade. But having said that, I'm leaning towards the Dodgers, but I wouldn't be upset if the Yankees won it either way. So either way, hoping
Yeah,
for a good competitive series.
exactly. Same here. But you know, uh, that'd be cool. If both teams do well. And so yeah. But enough about baseball. This is the doubleheader NFL weekly podcast.
The reason we say that because baseball has doubleheaders too, but I believe that won't be the case for the World Series. But that definitely won't be for the case game wise for NFL. So, having said that, we'll start with our first game between the current Browns and the old Browns. Yeah, and that seems crazy to say, but that's where we are.
Yeah. Well, I'll just get this out of the way, Amir. I have to say 34-17 Baltimore.
4-17 Ravens, okay.
They got
Um,
at least if they can score at least 17 points against Baltimore, that would be really good.
yeah, and I would say if you're the Browns offense, you got to do yourself this Ravens defense is vulnerable. It's not like the Ravens defense of old. I mean, they allowed 30 plus points twice this year and won a lot of close games, that being the Ravens, and lost some close games. And Browns, they fight the record. I mean, all their games outside of week one have been competitive. It just their offenses
Yep,
can't
that's
deliver.
true. Yep.
As I say that, yeah, James Winston, he'll be getting the nod this week. Watson's season is over. If you're Zach Orr, you say to yourself, this guy he knows how to, he make big plays, but also throw it to the wrong team. And I think he makes some plays on defense. So that being said, Ravens 35, Browns 14.
Okay. And for the betting odds for this week, Browns are plus 320, Ravens minus 425.
Yep, and this will be on CBS. And well, it might be a closer one than we expect, but I will say we both agree the Ravens should win this handedly.
Absolutely, for sure. So I'm ready for the next one. I'm ready for the next.
Yep, and all right, another it's gonna be an AFC South battle at NRG Stadium between the Texans and the Colts, and battle of two for us in the class of 2023, CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson. The latter is most definitely going to get the start, much to chagrin of Colts fans, and also much to chagrin. Yeah, these are the reigning AFC South champions, given what happened to you guys on your home field last year.
Yeah, but I kind of lost you, Amir, because I accidentally hit a button on my headphones, so my mistake.
Okay, fine. Yeah, you're the Colts defense. I mean, yeah, I know CJ Stroud's not going to finish the game with 86 yards passing, so he's gonna have 200 yard passing in this game, and also make a play that will look like it's for nothing, and then it'll work out like he did last year. And I believe Tank Dell or Nico Collins should be back, but either way, still got to account for Tank Dell, um, Stephon Diggs, and most importantly, Joe Mixon, who gashed you guys at Lucas Oil for $1.59 on opening day. As for the Texans, yeah, again, you've got plenty of weapons. You kings of this division. Can't wait to remind your rivals of that for the nth time. Hmm. Boy, this is a tough one for me because I'm wearing the old colors as we speak.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun game. I would say if Anthony Richardson plays smart, I think he'll do just fine for sure. But I mean, do you have uh a score in mind, Amir? Because I don't.
Hmm. You know, I wouldn't surprise me if Joe Flacco comes in the game and say that they a slow start. The Colts can pull this off. They just gotta keep the defense has forced a few turnovers, and I know John Taylor's not going to be on the field once again, most likely, but also have a few playmakers on the offense of their own, Pierce, Pittman, and Downs. If you can do that, you can pull off an upset. So I'd say the Colts win it by three, but winning by three, it's still going to be a close game at NRG Stadium.
Yeah, but um, it's gonna be close, Amir. I'm gonna say Texans win it 27-20.
27 to
20.
okay.
And for the betting odds, excuse me, we got plus 195. Texans at minus 230. So there you go.
Yep. Yep, you're good. And again, this should be an exciting one at NRG Stadium. Possible game of the week. And your nominee, I'd say yes.
Perhaps, but
Yeah,
there's there,
perhaps.
there- there's got- there's got to be some good matchups as well for another nominee.
Oh, yeah. Maybe this game, I say maybe, you just don't know what.
Maybe. Well, I'm gonna get this out of the way now. Jets, you should have no excuses to beat the Patriots. So I'm gonna say 27-14 excuse me, New York. Excuse me.
You're good. And this game will take place at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Amazing enough, the last time the Jets walked off the field victorious was against the Patriots back in week 3. And never forget Ian Eagle saying, the tide is turning for the Jets. Well, yeah, that seems like a whole lifetime ago. It was, look, they haven't, as I mentioned before, they haven't won since. But I think they will finally end that losing streak. So give me the Jets 26-13 over the Patriots.
Okay, so pretty similar scores here. So I like that. So and as for the betting odds, minus 340 for New York, New England plus 270. Um, so I mean this one should be pretty simple. I think it's the
Well,
Patriots
should
are
be, given that this is the Jets, they can make anything look hard in a blink of an eye.
yeah, but if they lose to the New England Patriots, they're in deep trouble.
100%.
So
And
on
speaking
for
of
the next one. Yep.
yeah, in deep trouble for a team. Well, actually, scratch that. Well, it's excuse me. This game right here was supposed to take place at 4:25, but due to the Bengals' slow start and the Eagles looking kind of shaky on offense, it moved to 1 o'clock kickoff. Either way, going to be the first time Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts meet as starting quarterbacks. Remember, Jalen was a rookie on the bench when they last time the Bengals took on the Eagles. So that infamous 26-26 tie in Financial Field 4 years ago.
Yep, I do remember that, and should be a fun one to be honest. I'm gonna say Eagles win it 24, and the Bengals have 17.
24-17. I'd say the defensive coordinators, Lou Amaru of the Bengals and Vic Fangio of the Eagles, are saying, "Well, that we'll take that." I don't think they want to sit through a high scoring affair. That being said, I know there's going to be a lot of points scored between these two teams, and I'm sorry, Eagles fans, you're going to have to sweat this one out again and lose again to this, and wait till 2028 possibly to end that losing winless streak against the Bengals. So I would say the Bengals winning an upset 27-24.
Oh, okay. Should go. It could go either way. And as for the betting odds, plus 140 for. Oh, excuse me, plus 120 for Cincinnati and Eagles minus 140 the betting odds this week.
Yep, and wondering why you have to see the year 2000. That was again the last time the Eagles beat the Bengals. Amazing, the Bengals have had the Eagles number in this series, and getting back to 2000, the last time that the Eagles beat them, they were at Veterans Stadium, and it was Donovan McNabb's and Andy Reid's second year with the team. So this is how long ago it has been.
It has been a long time, 24 years to be exact. And wow, that's something that I did not know. I did not know going into this fever today. So I'm hoping the Eagles find a way to get it done.
Um, I hope so. Well, for the Eagles fans, I hope so. I do feel that the Bengals are get starting to find their swagger again, but we'll see what happens when the clock strikes zero and another game in the year nominee for the week. Speaking of streaks, let's move on to the game at Ford Field where the Lions take on the Titans. And yeah, on paper, man, is there anything else to say here? The Lions are the better team. They should dominate the Titans. Like this game should be over by the third quarter at least.
Yeah, agreed. So I'm gonna say 34-14, Detroit.
All right. And speaking of streaks, as I mentioned earlier, yeah, the last time the Lions beat the Titans, that was all the way back in the year 1995 when the Titans ruled the Oilers, and that was played in Houston. Lions won that game 24-17, and they still had the likes of Barry Sanders and Herman Moore and Brett Perryman on the roster.
Yeah, so that was an old Detroit team right there. So for the betting odds this week, plus 450, Detroit minus 700 for Tennessee. If you're Tennessee, feel free to place a bet.
Yeah, and also the Lions, I would run the ball early and often because the only guy that's really showing up offensively for the Titans is Tony Pollard. But Detroit, you got Amir and David Montgomery, and they have more yards than any of the Titans receivers, which is just, and then I would be out the services of DeAndre Hopkins, who we'll get into in a few moments. As for our next game, it's going to be a homecoming for the head coach. That being, there we go. Well, reunion against his former team, rather, and that being Doug Peterson, he used to play for the Packers during his playing days on two separate occasions. As for speaking of those Packers, they'll be coming to town to take on Peterson's current team, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, I already have a score prediction in mind, so I'm gonna say 34-17. Packers should get it done with these.
I would agree with that, and eh, there we go. As for me, yep, Packers. If you can avoid the turnover bug, you should win this one handedly, 31-10.
Okay. So you're thinking of a blowout by the third quarter again?
Yeah, by the end of the third quarter, this game should be well in favor of the Packers. And then
Yeah.
they're
And
rolling
speaking
five to
of
six.
betting odds, yep. And speaking of the betting odds, plus 175. Jacksonville, Packers minus 210. So if you want to place a bet, feel free.
Oh
Um,
yeah. And speaking of placing bets, Tua Tagovailoa will already return to practice. Doesn't want to wear the Guardian cap, but he should be playing this Sunday because the Dolphins' offense has a lot to be desired this season.
yeah, a lot of catching up to do, and I don't know why he doesn't want to wear the Guardian cap. Oh man. Well, looking at these odds too, I'm gonna say maybe the Cardinals is probably gonna squeak this one through, probably 23 to 17, if that. So give me Arizona with that score, please.
All right. Well, yeah, it looks like you have Tua's returning in defeat. Um, I'd say the Dolphins can pull it out, but do not sleep on Mr. James Conner because he can. He's a game changer. He's a game changer. Yeah, Buck ran for 100 yards this past Monday night and can play some defense. So if I'm the Cardinals offensive coordinator, be I would run keep feeding him the ball to make sure these three guys are on the sideline as long as possible. And on the
Yeah,
flip side, Tyreek and Jalen are saying, please come back to her. We need some help on offense.
yeah. James Conner is a great example here. Um, and as for Arizona, if they could do what they've done all season, I think they can be an underdog of making the wild card.
Funny you should say that because now they have the same record as the 49ers. And who would have thought that at this point in the season? And they've beaten them. So that's them vying for being for a wild card position in the playoffs is not out of the possibility. And they've been competitive for the most part this season.
Yeah, surprises like in our first few episodes. Uh, yeah, that's my I guess you could say a mid-season prediction, but we're 1 week uh uh behind schedule. But
Yeah, we'll do those midseason awards and prizes in our next episode. And also Cardinals being better than the Dolphins. I didn't see that coming either.
yeah, so Cardinals plus 155, Dolphins minus 185 are the betting odds, and I see a familiar face on slide number 9.
Yes, you do. And speaking of familiar faces, Tampa Bay, Dean Morris was your head coach once upon a time, '09 to 2011. It was periods of success, but a lot of frustration, hence why he only lasted 3 years in Tampa. Now he's with their rivals, the Falcons, and lo and behold, you guys are 4-3, and once again competing for the sole possession in first place in the NFC South.
Yeah, like I said before in our recap, Atlanta, you know, fighting for that number one spot and looking good at that, despite losing last game. You know, it's competitive up top, minus Saints and Panthers. But if I had to choose, Buccaneers is going to squeeze out this one, 27-24, and I believe it's going to be a game-winning field goal by Tampa Bay. If I had to make a prediction.
And keep in mind, the last time these two teams met, it was that overtime thriller in Atlanta. Where on either Bucks should have ended in regulation had you ran out the rest of the clock, but that was not the case. And also for Tampa Bay, mentioned earlier, going to be without the services of Godwin and Evans. You know, Evans for a few weeks and Godwin for the rest of the season. So they got to turn to Mr. Sterling Shepard and Trey Palmer, who have a combined 13 receptions and two touchdown receptions on the season, whereas Godwin and Evans had 76 receptions and 11 touchdowns. So yeah, A lot of that's a big change in terms of output and depth. As for the Falcons, they're going to have their top two targets, receiving targets, Kyle Pitts and Drake London. And then settled that. Hmm, hmm. I say the Falcons find a way to get it done. This is your chance to have sole possession in the first place, and the opportunity is right there. So I'll take the Falcons by the same score, but with them being on the winning end.
I like the fact that we're being different,
Mm-hmm.
because it makes things interesting for a record wise, and this is where it gets really interesting. This time of the year,
Yes, that is correct. 'Cause once again, halfway point of the season, and starting to separate the guys who are going to be playing in January and the ones who are going to watch it from their homes.
Yep, this is yeah. I was super excited to record today. I was like, oh boy, like this is my favorite time of year. This is where things get a little more clearer, I guess you could say, but it really hasn't, to be honest with you.
No, I mean, again, it's still a lot of football to be played, and again, anything can happen on any given day, as the that title of that movie says, on any given Sunday, or in my case, on any given game day. Or as Chris Room
Hmm.
would say it, that's why they play the game.
Yep, absolutely. So the betting odds is minus 140 for Atlanta, Buccaneers plus 120. I like those odds. I don't disagree with those. So um, should be a fun one. And I got nothing else.
Yep. So same here, other than another game of the year nominee. And having said that,
I
that wraps up. What's up?
I would say NFC South game of the year nominee. Watch out.
Yeah, I mean the first one is Jordan qualifies, and the sequel has has the makings of becoming the game of the year. Can't say the same for their buddies in Bayou and in the Queen City. And speaking of which, as we go from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, let's let's talk about that team from the Bayou, or who and our opponent, being plays in Hollywood or not far off. Char- yeah, L.A. Chargers. There we go.
It's okay. But oh man, I hate to do this if you're New Orleans. So give me 20, 24-7. I mean, I know. I just don't understand the Chargers offense right now. Or, but I mean, that's the most realistic or I can think of right off the gate.
Well, yeah, I do. I will agree with you on that because they have a good running game. J.K. Dobbins, I know he was not too long ago leading the NFL and rushing, and still, 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 still keeping it up. He had like 90 yards the last two games, but their passing game has been. I expect a little more from the Chargers. As you know, it's good to have a good running game. You have to have that passing game to balance things out. As as I say that, the Saints have struggled defending the run the last 305 game losing streak, who can give them over 200 yards to the Broncos last week. So I'm on the Chargers. I'm definitely going to be calling a lot of run plays, but still got to put the ball in the air because only one dimensional. Having said that, Chargers 27, Saints 10, and Mr. Allen, if you even are allowed to leave this, get on the team bus, that's after this game. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, expect if the Saints somehow win this game, I'd be pretty surprised.
Oh, yeah, and Charger fans, yeah, you never rest easy. You hope the guys in Chargers don't blow this because Chargers have had and so many times in there's a rules like, okay, this is like surefire win, and then it's like same old Chargers. Hopefully, we won't be saying that at game's end this Sunday in LA.
Yeah.
If I say, excuse me.
Yep. Hmm. So for the Chargers for the betting odds minus 380, Saints plus 290. That sounds about right.
I would agree with that. And so, since we're going to be on the West Coast or Pacific timeline, let's move up. Let's make a trip to Seattle, Washington, where the Seahawks welcome in the Buffalo Bills. There we go. Yeah. And Bills, and starting to be looking like that Super Bowl contender once again, and helps that quarterback is keeping the ball out of harm's way. All touchdown passes to 0 interceptions, and you're going against the Seahawks defense that on the season has only recorded 3 interceptions, including 2 last week in Atlanta.
Yeah. So both teams looking really good here. Could be a fun one. Um, I don't know. It's going to be another 7 point differential. So give me Bills 24, Seattle 17.
Seattle 17, okay. And as I mentioned earlier, no, I mentioned there, the Seahawks will be out without the services of DK Metcalf due to a sprained MCL. So Mr. Jackson Smith and Jigba and Tyler Lockett time to step up, young fellas. I mean, put up the yards, 339 for Tyler Lockett and 310 for Smith and Jigba, but only 2 touchdowns or 1 touchdown apiece for both of you guys, and doesn't help that Geno Smith surprisingly only has 6 touchdown passes on the season. They have he at least be in the double digits by now. And
Yeah, that's surprising.
and as for the Bills, you mean got Amari Cooper. I know he's going to see a lot more action this week or get a lot more receptions. Same with Cam Holman and Will Shakir. And as I say that, Bills, you're the better team on paper. I'll say I'll take the Bills over the Seahawks. The Hawks, 28-24. Yeah,
Okay, so
sneaky good
okay,
game.
so yeah, yeah. So we have pretty close scores for both of us, which is good. And let's see, betting odds -155, Bills, Seahawks +135.
Yep, and again, Bills just keep the ball out of harm's way. Seattle, next man up.
Yep, definitely. Next man up if you're Seattle. And oh boy, we're gonna go to a sneaky red hot Washington team.
Yep, right. There we go. And it's going to hopefully the battle of the 2 rookie quarterbacks. Again, Jaden Daniels is going to be day to day with that rib injury. They said it wasn't serious, but then again, you just never know. As for Caleb Williams, got to a very shaky start, but it's found his rhythm the last 2 weeks and he's fresh off a bye week, so he's going to have a lot. He's going to hopefully pick up right where he left off and they're winning over in London against the Jaguars. And oh yeah, out of the rookie quarterbacks, they have a lot to prove because oh yeah, rookie of the year voting, that's up in the air as well in this game.
Yeah, both quarterbacks looking pretty good so far, despite Williams' shaky start. But um, this one's hard to predict. Amir, I'll let you go first, actually, because I can't think of a score.
Now that you mentioned it, you're right. 'Cause, yeah, this was originally scheduled for a 1 o'clock kickoff, but then Commanders looked at their record and that was moved to 4:25 on CBS, and that bumped the. That's why the Bengals Eagles game was moved to a 1 o'clock kickoff. Man, I gotta say the Bears defense has been great this year, and the Commanders defense has played pretty solid. Either way, it should be a good one, but I think the Bears can pull it out. And dare I say it, another definitely has game of the year written all over it. Give me it's in the 4:25 slot and battle 2 rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna go backwards and say 27-24. Commanders win it.
Hmm. Been a popular score of ours in this episode.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I do like the number 24. So
Yeah, 24 is a very popular number. I mean, Jeff Gordon, who else for that number?
Kobe
Honey
Bryant,
Moore. Oh, Kobe Bryant, yeah. Kobe Bryant, that's the one.
and
Who
that's
else?
funny
What's
that you
on
brought.
What up?
And that's funny that you brought up Jeff Warren first, so I give you props for that. There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, yep. And Marshawn Lynch, another one.
Another one.
Yep. And speaking of another one, should be another exciting game in our nation's capital. Unfortunately, the team that they played last Sunday, well, their market's not going to get this game because that's also scheduled for 25. And Panther fans, if you haven't lit,
Oh, and
late to the
real
party,
quick, we didn't. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but we didn't go over the betting odds real fast.
oh,
So,
oh,
betting
sorry.
odds for this game real fast. Yeah, no worries. Minus 145 for Chicago and Commanders 1+125. Again, Bears minus 145, Commanders +125. So there are your odds. And now we can get to the Carolina Panthers.
Yep. So my mistake for that. Skipping on the betting odds, but yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, big day fantasy wise for this team for this game as well. So cool. So you're a fantasy owner, gambler, Commanders, Bears fan, looking for game of the week. I would definitely tune in this game. So it'll be televised across the country, except for the ones involving the team that the Commanders played last week. And speaking of which, as I was saying beforehand, yeah, Panther fans, if you're late to the party, yeah, it ain't 2015 anymore. It's make sure the Panthers relive 2018 from here on out until things change and make their lives miserable and what have you. Yeah, because yeah, we know how that 2015 season ended, and how a lot of our games have ended like that.
Well, better start working on the Wikipedia page now.
Yep, and if you have any, I don't know, movies you want to watch, I mean, it's Halloween season, Freddy Krueger, Scream, Twilight, Scream,
Hocus Hocus Pocus.
Charlie Brown. It's a good time to do it if you're a Panthers fan.
Yeah, I might turn on a movie or two. Maybe watch a different game. Maybe grab some popcorn and do something else with it.
Oh yeah, and if you have YouTube, you can watch all the other games. They'll be a lot more exciting than watching this team. I don't know, look like have less energy than any in all the zombies in Michael Jackson's Thriller. Excuse me. Amazingly enough, Panthers have a guy by the name of Michael Jackson on their roster. As I say that. As for this game, yeah, Broncos make Panther fans relive Super Bowl 50 and a lot of their painful memories once again. Oh yeah, if you haven't again, if the misery train hasn't come to Charlotte, it's yeah, Andy Dalton got into a car accident, fractured his thumb, and oh yeah, Panthers' worst fears have come to fruition. Mr. Young, we on the center, and so they say that I don't even they even get a field goal. That will be a miracle.
Yeah, and I'm glad. Well, first and foremost, glad that Andy Dalton and family are okay from that accident.
Yes,
But
definitely. Andy Dalton, you got survived that accident. It's unfortunate what happened, but nothing serious happened other than a sprained thumb. But gonna miss you on the field this Sunday, sir.
yeah, well, I can do you one better score wise, Amir. Are you ready?
I, I'm ready. Bronco fans are ready. Panther fans not so
Well,
much.
Broncos will have 44 points. That's right,
Okay.
44 points, and the Panthers will only have 7. Come on.
I mean, I wouldn't blame it except this Panthers defense can't do anything. If you're a Broncos, Mr. Joe Lombardi and Vance Joseph, you gotta be saying to yourself, man, this is one fun week, and the Denver fans, it's time to kick back and relax once again.
Yep. Time to get the popcorn out. Turn on the movies. And just to reiterate what I said earlier, folks, I am eating the popcorn, not doing anything else with it. So, and then don't believe me, I'm eating it for sure. Cause um, yeah. But for the betting odds for this week, Panthers, you're at plus 400, and Bronco fans minus 600. So if you want to put an easy wager down, be my guest.
Yeah, you're a Bronco fan, I'd say go for it. Panther fans, I that'd be a risk reward.
But enough about them. Let's wrap this up.
Yep, let's move on to a game in Vegas. Speaking of betting odds, and oh yeah, geez, you got a new playmaker.
Yep, like we said, Hopkins, is signed with Kansas City involving a trade.
Yep, and you're the Raiders defensive coordinator. You got to be finding ways. How can I stop this Hopkins from having another All Pro day? And also, speaking of All Pro days or lack thereof, Patrick Mahomes has not had an All Pro day yet this season, but I know he's had a lot of good games against the Raiders. So, like, come on, there we go. Chiefs, yeah, Raiders. Unfortunately, no matter where you play, at home that is, it looks like your home games are secondary Chiefs home game. So I'll take the Chiefs 27, Raiders 14.
Yeah, Chiefs should win this one with these for sure. I'm gonna say 28 to 14.
All right, so that's all right. So we've got that game out of the way at Allegiant Stadium. Let's move on to our primetime games. Good
And the
morning.
betting odds, Amir.
Sorry. Oh,
You're
God, I'm
good.
getting it.
Betting odds minus 600, Raiders plus 400. So there you go, betting odds. Now we can get to the primetime game.
Yep. So starting with the game tomorrow night at SoFi, Vikings at Rams. Vikings come at their first loss of the season. And I don't think Cooper Cup will be playing, but this might be the last time he'll be on their roster because there are trade talks going on as we involving Mr. Cup as we speak. And I'll just get this out the way right now. Vikings are the better team on paper. They'll win it. Let's say 28 to 25. I mean, Rams are they've been competitive despite the record, so I wouldn't sleep on the
Yeah,
Rams.
I'm gonna say maybe a 10-point loss for the Rams. The Vikings should win this one. Oh, I don't know, 27-17.
All right.
So the betting odds, while Amir's typing that out, minus 150 for Minnesota, Rams plus 130. Vikings should be able to get this one. If if not that,
One hit the panic button, but if you lose the second game in a row, I would be concerned if you're a Vikings fan. As for the Rams, you, it could go either way.
yeah, definitely. So the Sunday night game will be, I believe, the 49ers is up next.
Yeah, and let's just say, not what I expected when the
Oh,
season came out in April. All these
oh,
records.
hello, Dallas.
Yeah, hello, Dallas. If you show up, 'cause I know the Niners have had your number, and the Niners, yeah, this has not been your season two at this point. I would definitely say these two have been the most disappointing at the halfway mark of the season.
Yeah, I just it's it's weird, right? Um, because we all picked Dallas to do well, and but being at 500 was not really on my bingo card at this time. As for the 49ers, I expected better.
I expected better with some of both of these teams because 3-4, 3-3, that was not the plan. Being the
But
plan
we
for
need to,
Dallas, they're not
yeah,
looking
but
at
we need to
throwing
pick
it.
a winner.
Yes, yes, we do. Mm, hmm. Sorry,
Oh, I'm
Cowboys
sorry.
fans.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
Fine. Just yeah, but Cowboys, your run defense, I just don't trust it. And Jordan Mason's looking like LaDainian Tomlinson out there. So that being said, I'm just going to take the 49ers just to be safe. Like, yeah, 31, maybe 17.
Oh,
Sorry, Cowboys
wow.
fan.
Okay. For some reason, I want to go 31-21. That's what I'm going to do for 49er fans. And again, while you're typing that out, I apologize for keep interrupting.
You're fine. Again, the internet, I don't know what it is. It's like, can you just work the way we want it to, you know?
Yeah, I guess today's not the day for that, but things will get better.
Yes, definitely.
But for the betting odds, real quick, minus 200, 49ers, plus 170 for Dallas. Is that too? No, I take that back. I thought it was a little closer than that, but I don't.
Yeah, but I will say this: you're a Niners and Cowboys fan, and hopefully this game will be the start of something like a run or change your season around. Not, I want to start looking. Maybe want to start playing for 2025.
Possibly. Well, I'd be panicking if you lose this game. I wouldn't pack your bags and head back home quite yet if you lose this game.
Oh, if you're the Cowboys, I say you want to play on the road and at home because you've got all three wins on the road, but I don't think that's going to be the case this Sunday night. But anyway,
Yeah, me neither.
enough about the Cowboys and Niners. Let's move on to the Monday night game, and I'm just going to get this out the way now. Steelers should win this one handedly. I do not trust the quarterback in New York or for the Giants, and I think it's going to be Tommy DeVito time for the Giant for Big Blue.
Yeah, I agree. Put me down for the same score, Amir. I have nothing else to say. This game should be over by the third quarter, up by the early fourth quarter. And real quick, Giants, your odds are plus 240. Steelers plus 290. Russell Wilson should be getting the thumbs up this week.
And same with TJ Watt. I haven't given 2+ sacks the last 2 weeks, but he's come out empty handed. But I don't think that's going to be the case this week.
Absolutely. And any what's our record predictions this week, Amir, for week 8?
Well, since we all 60 teams will be playing this week, starting tomorrow, I'd say 13-3 for me. Now I'll make that
Okay.
12-4.
12-4.
Yes.
I was thinking 12-4 as well, since it's all 16 games. So give me 12-4 for my record prediction for this week.
All right. I mean, not duplicate slide. Slide.
It is being a little slow today, isn't it?
Yep. Yes, it is. Skip this slide and then I'll.
There you
So
go.
predictions.
So we both said 12-4, so we're good there.
12
But
four. All right.
we're all done, folks.
Yep. So like I said, starting tomorrow, the midway point of the season will be upon us. Starting at SoFi Stadium between the Rams and Vikings, and then Blue and Steel season between the Giants and Steelers. So again, to be a few more Game of the Year nominees, and a few games that will make you want to binge on a movie binge, just in time for Halloween as well. So,
Yeah.
better weekly picks. Amir Dan and Keenan Costain. Catch you guys next. Let me try that again. That concludes this week of weekly picks. Hope we all enjoyed the games this week, and tune in for next week. See y'all later.
Yeah.